Anytime I say you need to learn how to do your makeup better and I tell you how to do your makeup, notice how I don't focus on the products. I am focusing on the technique and the skill because those are the most important things. You do need to have decent products, okay? Don't get me wrong. However, your skill and your technique, I'm telling you, those are the two important things. And something I've always wanted to do is go to Dollar Tree and get a full face of makeup to try on camera. And that is exactly what we are going to do today. Every single thing I use today, including tools, brushes, lashes, literally all of it is from the Dollar Tree. I spent $38.12. I forgot to keep the receipt like a dumbass. I also got some candy. So I'll be doing all of this with no filters, clearly. Starting off with a grippy primer. This also says that it has hyaluronic acid in it. There's some grip, but I personally would prefer more grip. I'm gonna spot conceal with this concealer, and the wand for it is like a little spatula. I prefer a cream concealer rather than a liquid for this, but we're working with what we got. There was no brow gel, so what I'm actually gonna do is use some of the grippy primer as a brow gel. This isn't gonna have the best hold, but it will have some hold. If I had thought about it while I was there, I would have just used a hair gel. Once those are dry, I'm gonna draw on my tail with this little brow pen, and the color of it is perfect. I drew my tails. Now I'm taking some of that same concealer, putting it on the back of my hand. This is a little flat brush from a 4-piece set, and I'm gonna use that to go in and carve out my eyebrows. The shade match on this concealer is actually kind of insane. They're not my best eyebrows, but I have literally done worse with luxury products, so I was so excited to find a concealer brush. Using the concealer to prep my eyelids. I'm actually just gonna use the powder bronzer I got as my eyeshadow. So the brush did break. But that's okay. I've literally done my makeup with a stick and a rock before. Love the packaging of this. I have some black eyeliner. I'm gonna do a black wing. I thought this was liquid eyeliner when I bought it. I think I can still make this work. It's just not gonna be what I wanted. Would have been better with a liquid eyeliner, but I'll take it. I'm so happy that there was a peach color corrector. Using this right on the dark parts of my under eye, blending out with that concealer brush. This was the only foundation option, and I think that this is close to my skin tone, but we're gonna have to see. I did get a foundation brush to apply it. I'm first just stippling this all over the skin, and it's gonna look a little crazy. I hate a brand new beauty blender, but I am gonna go in and use that to blend everything out. I don't know if you can tell, but it is separating on the skin, so I'm gonna put my problem-solving hat on really quick. I'm wiping everything off with a makeup wipe, going back in with my primer, spot concealing again, under eye correcting again, and then I'm gonna use this concealer as a foundation. The shade match is not as good, but this is laying a lot better on my skin. I'm also applying this all with the brush now because that beauty blender was pissing me off. Lighter shade of that same concealer I'm gonna put right under my eye, then on my chin and my forehead. I don't like the spatula. I'm gonna use my concealer brush to blend those out, blend out the edges of my under eye, but then I'm gonna let the majority of it sit. I use the same brush that I used for my foundation, and I'm gonna use it in this cream bronzer, going on my forehead, cheekbones, just everywhere else that I bronze. I'm sure that powder blush exists at Dollar Trees, but mine only had cream blush. Let's hope that it's pigmented. Yep. I'm using the same brush to blend that out, just going in little circles, bringing it up into that concealer a little bit. Now blending out the rest of my concealer with the concealer brush. I do have a powder puff and some loose powder. Oh, it actually comes with its own little powder puff. Use this just how I use my regular powder. I am gonna set the entire face with this. I have a powder brush, and I'm gonna go back in with that powder bronzer I used on my eyelids. I have some highlighter that I wanna put on my nose. Just realized that the eyeshadow I bought that I didn't use has blush in it. So I am gonna do a little bit of a powder blush. There was a lot of options for mascara, so I just kind of grabbed one, and I can't open it. Once I open it, I'm gonna put it on. I have lashes and lash glue. The lash glue gets tacky. I'm gonna go ahead and do my lips, and basically the only lip liner color they had was red. I tried to find one that was a bit of a more muted red, but that is still very clearly red. I have an idea. If you just walk with me for a minute, I'm gonna use my brow pencil to first line my lips, and I'm gonna use some of the red to go right over that and hopefully mix together and create like a reddish brown. I don't know if it's working. Okay, using some of my pink blush, putting that in the center of the lip, blot with the beauty blender. I'm gonna redefine with the eyebrow pencil. Then we're gonna top that off with a lip oil. I did cut the lashes into little half lashes. They're kind of giving nothing. I'm gonna try something that might mess us up. I'm putting some of the blush on the back of my hand, and I just wanna try to add a little bit more because I like a blush blindness. Got a little carried away, and you know what? I'll admit that. Let's finish everything off with a setting spray. I'm genuinely really impressed. I wish that the concealer had a little more coverage, but that's okay. I do think, again, that sometimes products are worth the money if you have the money to spend on them, but more than anything, you should focus on your technique and your skill. I really just wanted to get that point across. And you know what? I think this turned out pretty good, right? What do you think? I love you so much. I hope you have a good week. Bye!